Would I be concerned if I didn't own any gold and silver right now? Arguably, yes, I would be, and I would be therefore looking to buy. But what would I want to buy? That is the question. It's a question I get asked an awful lot as well. So in today's video, I not only want to talk about what I would buy if I had nothing, but what I am actually buying right now with the hindsight of owning a lot of gold and silver in the first place. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another precious metal ramble. Now I get asked so many times, what am I buying right now? What is the right thing to buy in the world of gold and silver? Is it bullion, proof coins, collectibles, silver versus gold? So many times I get asked, I get emailed that question an awful lot as well. So I thought in a non-financial advice kind of styling, I would do a little bit of a video talking about what I am doing right now as a buyer, collector, stacker, and also a little bit of hindsight retrospect on what I might do if I didn't have any gold and silver within my collection and stack right now. I did a video similar to this, gosh, it was about 9 months ago now, which did very well, very, very popular video. Have my opinions changed since that video? These were the pick for me then. In fact, I think it was that video that I showed these for the first time. These beautiful sovereigns. Has my opinion changed? Stick around to find out. It'd be great to hear your opinion down in the comment section, so please feel free to comment with your thoughts and opinions, especially if you're a seasoned stacker. I know lots of newbies take a lot of stock from the advice that we seasoned stackers give. And if you are enjoying our content, don't forget to hit that like button. So, what are we buying in the Backyard Bullion household? Silver. Silver is great. I love silver. I do think silver represents a great potential asset right now. It has been, I think, undervalued for a while. Certainly compared with gold. We look at the price of gold right now, and an ounce of gold, well, this isn't an ounce, but you get my point. An ounce of gold is very expensive compared with an ounce of silver, and it seems much more affordable to get silver right now. That said, I am not a fan of paying a premium on my silver unless it's like a proof coin or a piece of poured silver, a collectible, something unique, something different. I am not a fan of paying those high premiums. So when presented with an opportunity to perhaps buy like these coins here, these Charles Royal coins, or even just brand new Britannias from dealers and mints around the world, I am put off by the fact that with VAT, with taxes and everything, you're looking at least £30 an ounce, if not 32, 33, 34 on some of these coins. This coin here, I think brand new from the mint I bought to show on the channel, was £34.75 for a single. That's a lot of money. Now subsequently the Royal Mint did refund this coin for me as a way of sort of semi-sponsoring a video, so thank you to the Royal Mint for that. I guess I'm giving you a shout out because of that, so thank you very much indeed. But even so, I'm not a massive fan of those premium stuff, which is why I've got this big chunky Degussa lovely bar on the table here, because if I can find a piece of silver on the market right now for as close to spot as possible, let's be quite frank. If we can get it at spot, brilliant, but that's unlikely. But there are deals out there that happen on silver for those kind of products. They're rare and hard to come by, but generally when you see a kilo bar of silver for sale at the moment, it's around the £650 to £700 mark, depending on the bar. I feel that £700, even at that price point, which is still very good, all things considered, that works out at about £22 an ounce. You know, £650. I'm a buyer of these bars. If I get a kilo bar of silver for £650, I think that's a really good thing to just stick in the stack and wait and see how it goes, because I know that there is potential upside. I know that kilo bars right now will sell for £700. So if I can get them at £650, I know that there is a short-term liquidity non-issue. I was going to say issue, but there isn't, which is often why in the past I have leaned towards things like gold. So if we reflect on the video I did 9 months ago talking about what I would buy, where I was talking about sovereigns being the key thing, I still think sovereigns are the go-to piece of gold for me if I was to look to get some right now. But I do feel that I'm not putting a lot of money in my gold right now, because I do feel that there is opportunity for silver still. So I'm keeping a lot of those funds available for those good deals that come along, rather than just going ahead and locking everything all the way into one type of thing right now. So not really looking to accumulate a lot more of those types of products. I'm slowing down a little bit on the proof coin buying. That's something that I've talked about in a previous video, because I think the proof market right now is a little bit saturated and it's a little bit difficult. There is a lot of supply, not a lot of demand, and therefore prices are low. I'm not buying new from the raw mint. I am keeping my eye out for good deals though, because there are some really good deals to be had out there in this world. And it's certainly something to think about if you are perhaps interested in buying certain proof coins. Maybe give it a few weeks and months and see how that secondhand market goes. You might be able to pick up some really great deals on beautiful older coins that just aren't holding value right now. Maybe that market will correct itself in the future. We'll have to wait and see. I've done a little video about that in the past. So we will now have a quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll jump into part 2, which is where I shall talk about what I think might be the right call if I had no gold or silver right now, and why that makes quite the difference for those decisions. So today's video sponsor is Traction Uranium, and a big thank you to them for sponsoring our channel. Now you can find a link to their website and corporate presentation down in the description box below, and you can also see their ticker symbols, which are on the screen here. That's TRAC for the Canadian Securities Exchange, TRCTF for the OTC Markets Group, and Z1K for the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Now I know this is a little bit different to the topic of silver that we would normally talk about on this channel, but I do think it's interesting to compare to the world of uranium, certainly in the context of energy production in the 21st century. There's a lot of talk about silver being that big metal that will overcome a lot of the issues that we have within solar and renewables. But there are also a lot of hurdles for silver to actually get to those high market levels. And certainly when you compare it to the world of uranium and the fact that uranium and nuclear energy, one of the cleanest types of energy that you can ever create, I think will play a very important role going forwards into the rest of the 21st century. So with the US consuming around 20% of all of their energy from nuclear sources, and the UK about 15%, even countries like France at 70.6%, it's clear that there is still a lot of room for growth, and that growth is certainly expanding with the building of new power stations on both sides of the Atlantic. When we look at the current state of the 21st century and the energy requirements and the fact that we're on this trying to get the 1.5 Paris Accord target, there is a very strong business case for the need for nuclear power to, as we can see here, potentially double in its requirements to meet that target. So Traction Uranium are, I think, quite interesting if we look at their corporate presentation, because they have a very interesting project going on in the Athabasca Basin, and that is an important area of the world because nearly 15.5% of all the world's uranium comes out of that one area of the world. It's very, here we go, the Athabasca Basin, it's very, very large. Now, of course, look, I'm no technical expert when it comes to reading charts and interpreting data about the potential yields of uranium coming out of the ground. So do, of course, do your own research, but it is interesting, at least to me, that there is a very well-established and rich area of uranium that is now being developed by this company. As with always with my sponsor videos, I'll reinforce that I am not a financial expert and I do not know what will happen into the future, but it's certainly worth looking at, and if you're interested in the future of energy production, I would certainly recommend having a bit of a deep dive into Traction Uranium. So, once I said earlier, there are links in the description box below to their website and corporate presentation. If you're interested, I would highly recommend that you do a lot more research than just hearing what I have to say on the subject, and of course, do a lot of due diligence. A big thank you to Traction Uranium, and now back to today's video. A big thank you again to Traction Uranium for their sponsorship. I know it's a bit different to the silver types of sponsors that we've had in the past, but I do think it's quite interesting and relevant, certainly something to have a think about. So go and check them out, links down in the description box below. So now on to part 2. We are going to talk a little bit about what I would buy if I had nothing. So the fact that I have a whole bunch of gold and silver and I've been doing this for a while does really affect my buying strategy currently right now, and I can't get away from that sort of bias that it is leaning on me with, unfortunately. That said, I can attempt to take that stacker hat off, and it's like the Matrix. Once you've seen that the Matrix exists, then you can't not see it, I suppose. But it will attempt to. So it's take that stacker hat off, put it to one side. If I was looking at this world and thinking, oh God, it's a bit of a mess, and I start falling down the rabbit hole of gold and silver, I would be, as many people I think do, I'd be quite excited about gold and silver right now. You know, I'm putting the stacker hat back on, which is why the bias is here. If I look at the historical prices of things that I've paid for with my gold and silver in the past, you know, something like this coin here, I bought back in 2017, which is not essentially very long ago. It's only 6 years ago, for £1,015. If you buy an ounce of gold right now, you'll be paying £1,550, £1,600. So you can see the difference there. Now, if I had no gold and silver, let's take that hat off again. Would that sort of faze me paying £1,600 for an ounce of gold right now? I don't think it would, because back when I bought my first bits of gold at £1,000 an ounce, that was an awful lot of money to put on a piece of gold. But things have changed since then, and things I think are changing now. Now, I have always been one that pays attention to investments and markets and various different avenues to look to diversify one's sort of income and have lots of different products out there to do that with, whether it be gold and silver assets, stocks and shares, you know, savings accounts, whatever it might be. So I would always look at that diversification tool. If I had nothing right now, I would be looking to get gold and silver for sure. Even though prices right now are higher, I would still be looking to buy them. What I would buy is a really difficult one, because I don't know if the backyard bullion stacker in me can really disconnect enough to see. I feel like I would probably be drawn towards silver first, because I do feel, like I said at the start of the video, that there is more potential upside for silver right now in terms of that price. If you look at charts, gold is very much higher than silver in terms of percentage ratio than it used to be. If you look at premiums, and this is the difficult thing to really get to grips with, and if you are a brand new stacker, then it really is worth paying attention to this and doing a lot of research into this topic. So it might look good on paper that you see silver and the potential upside for silver, but when you talk about physical stuff, the premiums need to be taken into account. So that's where I refer back to the coin here, buying it at £34.75 brand new. Have a think about how you're going to get your money out of that at the other end. If buying your gold and silver is simply a vehicle to make more money over the long period of time, like an investment option or an asset that you just want to hold, for example, I always akin my gold and silver to having a little property. So I think of this like a little house. It's £50 when bought, and maybe at some point in the future somebody will be willing to pay £60 for it, and then you make a profit on it. It's exactly the same as a house. You just add a whole bunch of zeros on the cost of this coin and you get yourself a house. Of course, you can't live in a coin, but the point is still, I think, relevant, that over that long period of time, it is important to really kind of get to grips with those premiums, but how you're going to get the money out at the other end. So if I was brand new right now and the kind of investment headed vehicle was looking at me, I would be looking at buying silver, but I would, as I think I did when I got started buying silver, I would look for those VAT free options. Back then we could buy silver from Europe and it was VAT free. It was much cheaper. I remember at the time when I bought the first bits of silver, it was about £12 an ounce spot price, but I was, it was less than that. It was like £11 an ounce spot price, something like that, I think. And the first coins I was buying were like £12, £13 an ounce. Really cheap coins. Whereas if you were in the UK and you were buying from a dealer with tax and blah, 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 you were paying £25 an ounce easily for those coins. So I would certainly be looking at that. I would be then probably quite shocked at the premiums that you would look to buy on silver. So I'd probably then put some money into gold. You see where we're going here. I don't know if I can really truly take that stacker hat off now and say what I would completely do with nothing, but I know that I would want to maximize. I guess what I'm saying here is the key kind of point is I maximize what I can out of everything that I try and do, and so I would look into things a lot in detail. I would always as well take all of the messages out there in social media land with a pinch of salt when it comes to the shooting of the moon and the easy quick wins. I think the difficulty now though is that we're in this post Wall Street bets world, post Wall Street silverware, and post crazy hype collectible coins, where there have been examples of massively quick profit turnarounds, and people do get sucked into that and do get lulled into thinking that they can make a boatload of cash in a short period of time. So it's difficult, I know, but in general, in summary then, if I was brand new and had nothing, I would be looking to buy cheap. I would be looking to buy at low premiums with not much risk and liability. And whether that be cheap bits of silver, like a big 100 or kilo bar of silver, or sovereigns, or just the cheapest ounce of gold I can buy right now, that's probably what I would go for. So there we have my thoughts and opinions on the market. I hope that's been of interest to some of you. I do hope that you would, of course, do a lot more research than just watching my video before you go out and make these kind of purchases. That is something that I would recommend if you have nothing. But otherwise, it'd be great to hear from you down in the comment section. Please feel free to comment. And thank you especially to my Backyard Bullion Ramblers for watching to the end of my video. You are in the Super Cool Kids Club. Thank you indeed, and we'll see you on the next one. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.